welcome to the Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva. On today's episode, we talk about Rob Manfred's continued war against fun. We preview the first major Hollywood blockbuster of the year, and we pop some champagne because the evil witch may finally be dead. But before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe to Playbook Sports with the NBA playoffs in full swing. You don't want to miss an episode of You Know Ball. And let's begin. So, for our first series, we're talking about the Cubs versus Astros, who had a clean sweep against the Houston Dynasty. In Game 1, Jordan Wicks went 6 strong, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. A great start from him. Jameson Taillon in Game 2 went 5 2/3, 7 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Taillon, again, fantastic from him. And in the finale, Javier Assad, again, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and what was arguably the best start for this Cubs rotation of the year. The bullpen, fantastic, 9 2/3, ERA under 1, .72 whip, 4.66 Ks per 9. And while this Cubs team is built on their defense and you don't need guys with elite strikeout, stuff like Imanaga, you still need strikeout stuff from your bullpen, and they've been missing that sorely with the Julian Merriweather injury. And on top of that, too, I'm not really sold on this bullpen just yet. Their closer, Albert Alzolay, has a home run problem. 3.1 home runs per 9, 3.1 walks per 9. It's not what you want to see, especially because he does not have the strikeout stuff to make up for it. So watch out for a potential closer change on the north side. Hitting-wise, Mike Tauchman went off this series. 571 average, 750 on base, 2 home runs for a 2179 OPS. He's been on fire, and he really needs to step up because while Pete Crow Armstrong is a top prospect and Ian Happ is on the IL, we really need Tauchman to fill into this Cubs lineup because they are deadly throughout. And now that they have men starting to go down, they really have to get contributions from men like Tauchman. Nico Horner did Nico Horner things, made a lot of contact, 357 average, a stolen base, 786 OPS. He, if you can believe it, has cut the strikeout rate down to the lowest of his career, and he has the highest line drive and opposite field rate of his career. So the numbers are sustainable because he's not swinging and missing. He never swings and misses, and he's upped his contact, he's upped his line drives, and he's spraying the ball all over the field. They don't make a lot of hitters like Nico Horner anymore. So it's kind of fun to watch someone who just sprays the ball, line drives, contact. Beautiful stuff from him. And I don't know what to say. Fortunately or unfortunately, as a Dodgers fan, I was very mad when Michael Busch went on his 5-game home run streak and made us look like absolute fools for trading him. However, on the other hand, I never root for players to be bad or fail. But he looks to have come down to earth. In the series, he was 0 for 11, 8 strikeouts, absolutely brutal stuff. You didn't expect him to keep up the pace he had, but you don't expect him to go 0 for 11, 8 Ks. So let's just see where Michael Busch may be, because he's neither of these guys. I've seen him enough in the minors and know enough about him to know that he has the happy medium somewhere. Meanwhile, for the Astros, it's the story of the year for them. The starting pitching was absolutely atrocious. In the series, they only went 13 innings between the 3 games, 6.23 ERA, 1.92 whip, walked 10 batters in the 3 games, so almost a walk per inning. 13.85 Ks per 9 is great, but I don't care how many guys you're striking out. If you're giving up hits and walks, it's not worth the trade-off here. In Game 1, J.P. France went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 earned, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Brutal start for him, and it's the problems that have been plaguing J.P. France to start the year. It's the fastball, which is weird because the movement's improved. It's got more of that rise you expect from a good four-seam fastball, and it's got a lot more horizontal movement than it did last year. So you expect, it to be a harder pitch to hit. But no, hitters are actually pulling it more. And as, a pulled fly ball, most likely to lead to a home run, and a pulled fly ball, more doubles. It's not not been what you want to see with an improved fastball. And on top of that, too, it doesn't look like he has his command because that's a 17.5% walk rate on that fastball. So overall, you're just really looking to see what France can do because I like the new fastball. It's a problem, yes, but it's a good problem to have because it's a fastball closer to the movement profile of a league average fastball. And he was he was good last year with a below average fastball. And if he's improving it, he should be better. So let's see if they can figure something out with him on that one. In game 2, Spencer Arrighetti got blown up. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, gave up a home run. He's come in to replace the injured Framber Valdez and has come nowhere close to Framber Valdez-like production. He's another one of these Houston arms that have struggled this year. And in the finale, Justin Verlander could not get out of the 5th. He only went 4 1/3, gave up 3 hits, no earned, 7 strikeouts. However, he did walk 4 batters, another contribution to that infamous walk problem they had this year. And Verlander is coming back, not fully there yet. It's another step in the right direction, but you gotta attack the zone, especially with a Cubs lineup that makes a lot of contact, does not chase. They will take their walks as shown in that outing, so you gotta pound the zone. Verlander's gotta get better on that. The bullpen was actually pretty solid this series. They had gone 11 innings, 3.27 ERA, whip under 1, a little over 9 Ks per 9, and a 1.64 home runs per 9. The bullpen did their job, which is surprising because, granted, the high leverage arms did not have to be touched this series, but Hader struggled, Presley struggled, Abreu's not been Brian Abreu. Yet it's those lesser known guys that have really stepped up and eaten innings and given them at least a chance to come back. They were not perfect, no bullpen ever is, but that's about as good as you're going to get, especially without the big 3. Offensively, Jose Altuve continues his great start to the year. He had a home run and a 308 average, good for an 846 OPS. He really defies aging because he just hits everything in that tiny zone of his. He takes his walks. He's found a good power stroke too. As much as it pains me to say, Altuve is a phenomenal hitter, arguably the best hitter of his generation, and he proves why every day. Kyle Tucker suffers from being the guy with the most boring name in baseball, quite frankly, because he's doing fantastic things. In the series, he hit 364, scored a run, had a stolen base, 916 OPS. He's one of those few Astros hitters along with Altuve that actually had a great start to the year with Bregman and Jordan struggling. You really look for Kyle Tucker to anchor that bottom of the lineup, and as the cleanup man, he's doing everything he can. He's putting the ball in play, he's hitting it hard, he's getting on base, and he is stealing a bag or two. He's quicker than you would think. So Kyle Tucker, fantastic series here. And John Singleton, 2 for 7, no extra base hits. Why highlight John Singleton in an Astros lineup full of great names? It's because he may have taken the starting first base job from Jose Abreu, and Jose Abreu has been brutal to start the year. After the end of this series, he's had a negative 36 OPS plus. An OPS plus in the 70s is considered bad. 50, you may not want to start him. Negative is unheard of. Negative 36 is unprecedented. It has been absolutely rough to watch Abreu. So 2 for 7 with no extra base hits is a lame stat line. It is not even close to league average, but it's better than what you were getting with Abreu, and that's not saying a lot. So overall, this Cubs offense is relentless, but in a different way than you would expect with the Braves and Dodgers. They take their walks. They don't hit for a lot of power, but they're always making great contact, always seemingly scoring with runners on. It is just brutal lineup to get through. And then the rotation was great in this series. Oh, and by the way, their ace did not pitch, and Imanaga has been fantastic. If you said he was going to be the best Japanese starter, you would be lying to yourself at the start of the year, but this is where we've ended up. Now, on the other side, it's been brutal for Houston. The rotation, yes, you've had injuries, but guys are supposed to step up in absence. Ronel Blanco has stepped up to fill Verlander's spot, but Arrighetti has not stepped up to fill Valdez's spot. People have not stepped up for McCullers or Keedy. It's just been tough to watch this rotation fail time and time and time through again. Offensively, Jordan is hitting the ball hard. He will always figure it out. He's arguably the best pure hitter in baseball. Altuve is great. Kyle Tucker is great. Yannier Diaz has been a plus in catcher, and they have not had that since arguably Brian McCann in 2018, 2019. But, you're losing contributions from Alex Bregman. He's not fixed that home run or that launch angle problem, and now he's not hitting it as hard or in the sweet spot. It's been tough for him to see. The bullpen has struggled, and now you have a massive hole at first base with Abreu bad, Singleton being below league average, and if you are rooting for below league average from a premier offensive position, you have failed in your team construction, plain and simple. I'm not ready to call them dead just yet because we have seen this team struggle out the gate and then come back and make an ALCS. They've done it every year since 2017, and I can tell you, it is hard to make the NLCS or the ALCS every year. It's an impressive thing they've done, but I think it's finally caught up to them, and it may finally be time to bury them where they stand. And I, for one, will not be sad. For series number 2, we go to a clash in the American League Central here between the Tigers and the Royals. The Tigers won the series 2-1 and looked dominant pitching-wise. Reese Olson went in Game 1, gave him 7 strong innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Olson has been a surprise in this Tigers rotation because you knew about Skubal and you knew about Casey Mize, both of whom we will talk about later. But Reese Olson has stepped up and been a great number 3 here for what may arguably be the most underrated staff in baseball. In Game 2, Casey Mize went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Not the best start from Casey Mize, but he did what he needed to do. He didn't have his strikeout stuff. He didn't have his location, but he got the outs he needed to. He gave him 5 innings, and that's all you can really ask from a starter these days. Just hand it over to your bullpen. And one of the Cy Young favorites in the American League going into the year, Tariq Skubal, showed him exactly why. 7 fantastic innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts in the finale. Skubal, you know what you're getting. That fastball looked great at the end of the year. He kept it up, and that sweeper. I love a good sweeper, and his is arguably the best in the game. Fantastic break, fantastic movement. He's rediscovered a great pitch mix, and he looks like he might actually win the award this year. Hitting-wise, Mark Canha has been phenomenal offensively. Don't let the OPS or OPS numbers fool you. He is great because in the series, he hit 363, 2 runs, an RBI, 917 OPS. And what makes Canha great is he takes his walks. He has a fantastic plate discipline and approach at the plate. And you see that reflected in his top 10% WOBA to start the year because that takes his walks into account. And he doesn't have that home run power. You really don't get that kind of home run power with how cavernous Comerica Park can be. But if you take your doubles and hit a lot of them, it's reflected in your slugging percentage. And that's why, WOBA actually tells you more of who Mark Canha is as opposed to OPS and OPS plus. Riley Green, not a great series, 200, average 533 OPS. He's one of those guys that has to carry this offense because everyone else from Torkelson to Baez on down have been struggling. So it's really been, Carpenter, Green, and Canha. And Green did not have a great series, only the 2 hits, brutal to watch. And Kerry Carpenter, same thing, 182 average, 364 OPS, 5 strikeouts. The Royals pitching staff is great, but again, if you want to be a great team, if you want to make the playoffs, even in a weak division, the Guardians have fantastic pitching. The Royals, so far, have great pitching. You're going to have to hit this great pitching. So I don't care what you do against the White Sox. You need to show this against the good teams in your division. For the Royals, as we talked about, great pitching, and you saw why in Game 1. Seth Lugo, 7 strong innings, 3 hits, no earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Since becoming a full-time starter, Seth Lugo proved that should have been his role the whole time. He goes the distance. He looks good, too. He's striking out guys, not really walking a lot, limiting hard contact. Seth Lugo has been a revelation and may be the sneaky signing of the year. In Game 2, Brady Singer wasn't his best start, but again gave him 5 strong, 4 hits, and earned 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. He's been fantastic to start the year. Singer has been the ace of the staff, shown why time and time again. Even on a night, like you said with Mize, where he didn't have his best stuff, he comes in and does what he needs to do to get into the 5th and give him 5 strong. And then Michael Wacha, unfortunately, was blown up in the finale. 5 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Was not pretty to see. Has not been keeping up the production he had in San Diego last year. And Wacha's been brutal for Kansas City. Hitting-wise, Bobby Witt Jr. just does some Bobby Witt Jr. things, He had a 308 average, had a triple, had a stolen base, flashed that phenomenal speed that's just jaw-dropping to watch on the field. But from that 2 spot in the lineup, he drove in 5 runs. 770 OPS was not perfect by any means, nor what you expect from a guy you want to win an MVP. But, if you drive in 5 runs, you have a triple, you flash all that speed, that's what you want from Bobby Witt Jr. You were playing in Comerica. It's a cavernous place. You're not going to have that home run pop, but just use your speed to your advantage, and Witt did so this series. Salvador Perez, did not have the series you'd expect he would going into this. But, 250 average, double at RBI, 641 OPS, not the best, but don't let that fool you. Perez has been the best catcher in baseball this year because he's got a great launch angle with stellar hard rate, hit rate, and you see it in everything. Great average, great home runs, great slugging, great everything. And for me, what I like is his strikeout rate has been cut tremendously to start the year. And he's upped his walk rate too. He's striking out less, walking more. Yeah, he's chasing more, but he's making great contact when he chases. His chase contact percentage is 68.5, so yeah, you don't want your guy to chase, but if you're making contact when you chase, and especially good contact the way Salvi has this year, you don't really care because he's just fantastic, defies time. And Mikhail Garcia may be one of those that steps up and becomes the 3rd bat in this lineup, as he hit 384 this series, scored 3 runs, drove in 4 more, 890 OPS. The Royals lineup really has been Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez, and you're kind of looking for someone else to step up. Pasquantino's been okay. Adam Frazier has been not great. So Mikhail Garcia from the leadoff spot. You can't keep up these kind of numbers, but if you get on base and just put yourself in position for the other 2 to drive you in, and that's all you really need because, again, this Royals staff is phenomenal. And you saw why in this series. So, overall takeaways. Both teams, great pitching. Offensively is where they struggle. The Tigers have their 3 guys, but they kind of need a 4th. But if Canna can carry this offense single-handedly, it'd be the carry job of the century. And he did do this in this series. He was great, especially with the other 2 struggling. But you need someone to step up. Ideally, you would want it to be Torkelson because he's still young and can figure things out. The bullpen looks solid, but it might be time to look to get a bat if you're serious about competing this year. Offensively for the Royals, again, you had Bobby Witt Jr., you had Salvador Perez do their things, but you need someone to step up here too. Because the bullpen, they were great aside from that 1 blow-up inning, which always inflates bullpen numbers. So they're fantastic to start the year. The rotation is great to start the year. But again, you got to get someone to hit here. Bobby Witt Jr. cannot carry this offense alone. You don't know how long Salvador Perez is going to contribute like this. Yes, Pasquantino hits the ball hard, but so does Ladd Jr., and he's struggled to carry a Toronto offense. I don't trust Pasquantino even if he hits the ball hard. So both these teams, carried by their pitching, need bats to step up, whether it's already in the lineup or from the farm system, because one of them has to win the AL Central this year. And hopefully it's one of these 2 because they're young, fun teams. Now, normally we would talk about last week's Series of the Week, Padres and the Phillies. However, I have to talk about this Brewers-Yankees series. Fantastic offensive baseball throughout, which means these pitching numbers I'm about to tell you, virtualized. It's been horrible. Colin Ray in game 1 went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 5 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 3 home runs. Absolutely tough from the supposed number 2 of the staff. Journeyman Joe Ross went in game 2, 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, gave up a home run. Again, another tough start here. And in the finale, Tobias Myers, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Not even a good start from any of them. They were all bad starts. They gave them length, but they were just blown up and hit hard by, yes, a Yankees lineup that has depth, but you're the Brewers. Your calling card has been pitching and developing pitching. Didn't really do that in this series, unfortunately. The bullpen had to shoulder a lot of load this series. They went 13 innings, had an ERA of 13.15, a whip of 2.92, 4.15 Ks per 9, 2.77 home runs per 9. There's no way around it. Everybody in this bullpen, from Abner Uribe on down, were hit hard, and it's been brutal because this bullpen has always been what the calling card for the Brewers is. They are the Rays of the National League, and they didn't show it here. Everything was badly placed. Everything was hit hard. Absolutely not what you want to see if you're the Brewers, who are looking to win a very crowded NL Central. Offensively, Rhys Hoskins hit .250, 2 runs scored, a home run, an RBI, 666 OPS. He's been fine since coming over from Philadelphia, and you don't really need fine for Rhys Hoskins because, again, this is a lineup that really has Adames, William Contreras, Yelich has been out, so you need someone to step up here. I sound like a broken record, but truly, the best teams in baseball have lineups with depth, not just 1 or 2 guys. So it's players like Rhys Hoskins you really need to step up here, and he just has not this year. The aforementioned William Contreras did not have his best series, but still did things when he needed to. He hit .250, scored 30 runs, had 2 big doubles to put the team in position to score, and had a 749 OPS. He has been scorching hot this time of year. You always knew he could hit. And once he got into Milwaukee, they've worked on his defense, developed him. And Contreras, we talk a lot about, the shortstops in baseball and how this generation is one of, if not the best generation of shortstops ever produced. This catching generation, led by guys like Contreras, is not far behind from a position known for its defense. Getting offense, especially Contreras-like offense, is something you looked forward to see. And top prospect Jackson Chourio continues his struggles. He hit 167 in a series where seemingly everything was flying out of the ballpark. Seemingly everybody was getting hits. He struggled immensely. 417 OPS, struck out 3 times. And has that, top prospect syndrome you see with Jackson Holliday. He is chasing everything. He's not making contact whatsoever. He's really pressing at the plate here. And unfortunately, he's not hitting the ball hard. Not a lot of great solid contact. If there's one thing that's kind of saving him at the moment is he does have a plus barrel rate. So he is making great contact when he does. It's just, you got to get him to make more contact. I would even sacrifice, a little bit of hard hit, a little bit of launch angle just to have him make contact, gain confidence, and then slowly build him back up. And unfortunately, none of the top prospects from Pete Crow Armstrong to Holliday to Chourio have really succeeded this year. And it's sad because the Brewers gave Chourio a lot of money, so he's got nothing but time to figure this out. For the Yankees, my goodness. We'll get to them offensively, but pitching-wise, Luis Gil went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. He was blown up by a fantastic Brewers lineup and has been solid, but not the start you want to see from Gil. Carlos Rodon righted the ship, though. Went 6 strong, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, 8 strikeouts, gave up a home run. I'm not fully ready to say that Carlos Rodon is back because his expected batting average has really been inflated by an unsustainably high, 14% pop-up rate, which no one ever gets hits on pop-ups, especially on the infield. So look for that to come down, that pop-up rate and that expected batting average to go up conversely. A lot of chases, or not a lot of chases, not a lot of whiffs, below average K rate. He's looking to figure things out. He's still coming back from injury, but you really paid Carlos Rodon for the strikeout stuff. You don't pay him to get guys to pop up. And if they're not chasing, they're not swinging and missing, and they're not striking out, it's kind of been a hallmark of when things go wrong for Rodon. So I'm not fully sold that Carlos Rodon is back to that 2021-2022 self that got him that big contract. And in the finale, Marcus Stroman did not have a great start. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, no command. And when he did find the zone, he was just hammered by a potent Brewers lineup. So the bullpen once again had to carry the load. 13 1/3 innings pitched. They had a 2.03 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 8.1 Ks per 9. They have been a solid unit all year long. Clay Holmes, Santana, Victor Gonzalez, everybody in that bullpen has stepped up and given them big innings. And in the series against a lineup that has done damage in a ballpark famous for being a hitter's ballpark, you shut them down. Great series from the Yankees bullpen. And offensively, this Yankees team absolutely came to play and were the Bronx Bombers they have always been touted to be. Alex Verdugo hit .357, scored 4 runs, had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 1186 OPS. Do not expect those power numbers to keep up from Verdugo. However, he is a great contact hitter. He's been spraying the ball all over the place, almost a true third type distribution, which is about as perfect as you want to see. And on top of that, too, he's walking 13% of the time. He's striking out less than 8% of the time. His whiff rate's under 13. Just the definition of a contact guy. But unlike Horner, he does show little bits of pop that make you excited for who he really can be, and with plus defense in the outfield. Everyone talks about Soto, but Verdugo is another key acquisition for the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo finally has shown that old Anthony Rizzo. 539 average, 6 runs scored, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, a 1725 OPS. He was fantastic to start the year. And he's shown that Anthony Rizzo he was in 2023 before the concussion that really derailed him. He's making that solid contact. And when he gets back to New York, look for him to take advantage of that infamous short porch and right. That's what he really is paid to do. He's not going to be that 3-4 hitter he was in Chicago when he was part of that famous Brizzo duo. But he doesn't need to be. You have Juan Soto, you have Aaron Judge, Volpe, Verdugo. You have these guys to go and drive in the runs. You're just here to give length, and if you're giving this kind of length to a lineup, look out, because that is deadly. And Giancarlo Stanton even, he hit .288 in the series, 2 runs scored, a home run, 3 RBIs, 857 OPS. Again, he's not going to be that Giancarlo Stanton that hit 59 home runs a combined 25 miles because he tattoos these things. But, you're just looking for him to give you length in this Yankees lineup, and he provides great length. He makes hard contact. He has still been hitting the ball even this deep into his career after all the injuries. It's exactly what you want to see out of Stanton. And quite frankly, the Yankees team as a whole, is there a juggernaut. I did not talk about Soto, who had a fantastic series. Volpe's figuring things out again after a little mini slump. Oh, and by the way, Aaron Judge still has an OPS this season under 800. Once he gets going, this is a deadly lineup with no easy outs. You're waiting for Garrett Cole to come back. The rotation has not been as great as they were going into this series, but they're still a great unit overall. The bullpen really has stepped up and shown that they are a top 10 unit in the game. Fantastic series. World Series ambitions are on in the Bronx. For the Brewers, they're still a sneaky contender. They still put up runs in this series. They just could not get this Yankees lineup out. And to be fair to them, not a lot of people have, but they don't give up runs to the Yankees like the Brewers did in this series. So what are you kind of looking for? I'm looking for them to fix the pitching woes. We knew it was going to be an issue this year with Brandon Woodruff out for the year with Tommy John, with Corbin Burns being traded, with Devin Williams missing the first few months of the year. Someone has had to really step up. Peralta has, but Colin Ray and all the other starters really haven't. Admiral Uribe has been okay, but he really was supposed to be the guy that has stepped up here. No other person has really challenged him for that big dog role in the bullpen. Brewers are fine, but if they really want to have great aspirations of going deep, they have to win series like this, and they did not, unfortunately. Now, for our first piece of news of the week, Jackson Holliday has been sent down back to AAA to figure things out. And his start to Major League career, he went 2 for 35 with 2 walks, and it really has been hard to watch because it's not been the Jackson Holliday that got him promoted. Both his base hits, neither of them left the infield. He struck out at half his plate appearances, is whiffing on nearly half his pitches, nearly a 60% whiff rate on fastballs, which is how you're supposed to make your bread and butter as a hitter. You're supposed to hit fastballs, not supposed to whiff on them like that. 62.5% ground ball rate. Just looking at him, there's timing issues, there's confidence issues. And you got to really send him down and just say, like, look, this is who you are. You work the zone. You are a master of the zone in the minor leagues. Find that approach again. Bring that back up to the majors. You'll be fine. Not every prospect, comes out the gate hot. So just calm down. You're not going to be the guy because this Orioles lineup, Gunnar Henderson, Hurstad, Rutschman, you don't have to be the guy. You just got to get on base for the guys to drive you in. And then once you get that confidence, you'll get it back. So keep an eye on Jackson Holliday in the minors. See if that walk rate comes back up to where it was before he got called up. See if he's chasing less, making better contact, because that's really what Baltimore and all of us are looking for him. And news number 2, Players Weekend is back for the first time since 2019, and it's going to be a little different, though. No nicknames on the back of the jerseys, at least for the last 2 nights, because in the press announcement, they said that Friday night will show off the unique aspects of players' personality, Saturday is for charitable and community initiatives, and Sunday will be for the people that help the players make the big leagues. But Players Weekend is famous for the nicknames. So many great jerseys and nicknames have come out of it. We all remember Rich Hill's D Mountain, aka Dick Mountain. I am a proud Dodgers fan. I would never wear anything else, but I would give up my firstborn to get a Seattle Mariner Kyle Seager jersey that says Corey's brother. Fantastic. Brad Boxberger with a burger and a box on his jersey. There's so much great stuff that comes out of Players Weekend, and it really is just a chance to see different sides of players, to get to know them beyond, just the players on the field and what they show you on the field. So many fantastic nicknames, and we're going to miss out on that this year because Rob Manfred hates fun. Like a Dodgers jersey that says Yoshi for Yoshinobu Yamamoto would go hard. And I hate the Giants, but a Giants jersey that says late night, ooh, man, that would be one of the best jerseys ever made. On top of so many other guys who've just come up with great nicknames. Unfortunate that we don't get it this year, but I'm still looking forward to Players Weekend nonetheless. And finally, we have our first series that I describe as must-watch television this year, as the Dodgers and Braves will play a weekend series at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers as a team, 123 OPS plus, 116 ERA plus. Phenomenal. Juggernaut they're supposed to be. Well, the Braves are just that little bit better. Dodgers have a 123 OPS plus. Braves have a 124 OPS plus. Dodgers have a 116 ERA plus. Braves have a 117 ERA plus. They're about as evenly matched as they can be, and the pitching matchup shows that. In Game 1, Charlie Morton takes his 2-0 record, 3.63 ERA, 1.13 whip at 8.4 Ks per 9. He will face off against a struggling Gavin Stone. 2-1, 4.68 ERA, 1.44 whip, 6.48 Ks per 9. Morton's been fantastic. Stone has struggled with command and is walking a lot of guys, but still a great pitching matchup nonetheless. In Game 2, Bryce Elder made his season debut last week, so he's 1-0. No earned runs, 1.2 whip, and 5.4 Ks per 9. Bryce Elder, he's not going to strike dudes out, but he always gets a lot of ground balls, so let's see if he can induce ground balls against this Dodgers lineup. He faces off against the pitcher of the year in the National League, Tyler Glasnow, 5-1 record, 2.72 ERA, 0.93 whip, 11.09 Ks per 9. What is there to say about Tyler Glasnow that hasn't been said? But what I will talk about is in Tampa Bay. He went 5, 6 innings. He really didn't pitch deep into games, and Roberts has been letting him go 6, 7. He's pitched into the 8th inning a couple times here. He has been absolutely phenomenal to start the year. The fastball, it's a plus fastball. It's one of the best in baseball. But the curveball has worked beautifully off it. The slider has been unexpectedly good to start the year. Glasnow and Elder are about as different as pitchers as you can get, but they both get great results. That'll be a fun pitching duel on Saturday. And in the finale, Max Fried, he got things right last week. He's brought his ERA down to 4.97. He's 2-0 with a 1.38 whip, 6.4 Ks per 9. He goes up against James Paxton, who's also 2-0, 2.61 ERA, 1.55 whip, and a Ks per 9 under 5. Again, Paxton has been great, but not striking dudes out. Fried has struggled, really had that great complete game last week. So let's see if Max Fried is finally discovering his ace-like stuff. Another phenomenal pitching matchup. And, names to watch, I can talk about for the Dodgers. The big three, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. I could talk about Smith and Muncy and Teoscar, but instead I'm going to give you two guys who have been struggling. One guy who's been struggling, one guy who's been a prospect that's been great to start the year to kind of look out for because we know about the big names. Andy Pages has been phenomenal to start the year. One of the best starts in Dodgers history. So he's one of those that's looking to add length to this Dodgers lineup because what's really done him in is the bottom three this year. Pages has filled in nicely on the bottom of the lineup and really set the table so Betts, Ohtani, Freeman can do their thing. James Outman, on the other hand, has been rough to watch. And the thing to look for in this series is they are attacking him inside because he's not been hitting the pitches inside. His timing has been way off on those. He's been getting jammed. So look for the Braves pitching just to pound him in and in and in and see if he can adjust to that. And the Braves, similarly, we know about this lineup. We know about d'Arnaud, Osuna, Acuna. But we don't know is that Olsen, has been fine. He hasn't been that Matt Olson who was just hammering everything last year. 103 OPS plus on the year. Look for him to kind of turn things around and get going. Austin Riley, not a great start to his season either. 84 OPS plus. He's the 3-hitter in the lineup. He's well insulated because he's got Harris, Albies, Acuna in front of him. And he's got Arnaud and Ozuna behind him. So he's got to get things going offensively. But again, this Braves lineup. Even guys like Jared Kelenic are making a lot of great, solid contact. Regardless of who you talk about or who you want to look for, there's great positional matchups up and down this series. It's supposed to be the NLCS for a reason because these are the two most talented teams in baseball. And look for absolute fireworks in Los Angeles this weekend. But let me know, what series are you looking forward to the most? What would your players' weekend nickname be? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you enjoy the content, leave a like. And don't forget, on the way out, play ball.